That's where we got to go now to bring in former NFL coach and new head coach at Grambling State University, Hue Jackson. And Hue, I want to dive right into this because as someone whose parents and siblings are graduates of HBCUs, I'm excited about what your presence at Grambling means for the school, for the SWAC, and for HBCUs as a whole when it comes to the landscape of college football. So what about this job made it right for you in this time and space?
First of all, Canty Golic Jr., thank you for having me on. Obviously, it was just, when you think back to the HBCUs, Grambling has always been the King Kong of the HBCUs. And obviously, Eddie Robinson, what he did at Grambling, one of the greatest coaches in the history of football, to have a chance to go there and lead a program like Grambling with President Gallo and Dr. Scott, who's our AD, boy, to me, it was just a tremendous opportunity.
Hue, obviously, so much of the conversation this year has been about the success that Deion Sanders has had at Jackson State. Did seeing any of that kind of stoke your interest in this?
Oh, absolutely. To me, being at Tennessee State probably was the eye-opener for me about what HBCU football was. I mean, obviously, that was a great season for Tennessee State. We had a 4-game run in there, but we played against Jackson State. And I got to see firsthand what Deion's doing over there, and he's doing an outstanding job. Obviously, they got a big game tomorrow in the Celebration Bowl, and I wish them well. But it gave me just a taste of what it could be like, just the pageantry, the bands, the football teams, and there was some great football being played.
And Hue, you mentioned the Celebration Bowl, and they're expecting a record crowd, a sellout, first time in that event's history. It's going to be 75,000 people there. They're actually issuing standing room only tickets in that game between the SWAC and the MEAC champions. And so I wanted to ask you, what does that say about the state of HBCU football and how it's valued now?
I think the value is definitely going up. You know, I think obviously what Deion's done, he's really opened everybody's eyes as to what can be done in HBCU football. Eddie George being at Tennessee State was another eye-opener. Hopefully I can do my part over at Grambling, which I will do my part, to make sure that we get more eyes on what's happening with these HBCUs universities, that there are some really good football teams and some really good football players, and now there's some really good coaches, not that there haven't been in the past. But I think the coaches have done a really good job of elevating and showing the talent and showcasing the talent that's in these particular conferences.
Canty Golic Jr. here on ESPN Radio talking to Grambling State head football coach Hue Jackson on the Goodyear Hotline. And Hue, one of the other things we saw, that, I mean, a major commitment, 5-star talent now heading to play for Deion. Is that something you think can become more common now, especially with all of the different changes around player agency in college football?
Yes, I do. I truly believe that it can. I mean, the rules and the landscape is starting to change. I mean, I think HBCUs are where to go to have that opportunity to showcase your talent and ability and still have the same experience as you would any place else. And obviously what Deion did with the young man, Mr. Hunter, coming out of his high school, just says now the eyes are starting to look everywhere, that these players want an opportunity to play and want an opportunity to showcase their talent and ability.